Morning minutes Friday frenzy.
It is. It is. If I look like I've just woken up, it's because I have. I'm sorry. I actually slept in for the. It's been a very, very hectic week this week. That's for sure. It's been extremely full on, and I can't remember the last time I actually slept in and did not hear the alarm. But that happened this week. That happened today, rather. So I've just woken up, but that's okay. It happens to the best of us. It's been a real week of change, hasn't it?
This week. I was wondering how everyone's going to react in property
Yeah.
to Labor, and I was thinking, is it going to change things? Are people going to come out and rush and start buying? Are people going to come out and sell all their properties? What are people going to do?
And the verdict?
More stock, more listings.
Yeah, definitely. I saw that already a few weeks ago, Mark.
Yeah.
More listings coming on. But I can quite confidently tell you anyone that I have spoken to this week has not said a single thing about Labor. Not a thing. I thought it was going to have more of an impact, I'll be honest. I really did. I thought it was going to have more of an impact, but no one has said anything about it. And look, it's not to say that people are not happy or not disappointed. They're just not airing their views to the real estate agent, I guess. It's simply not affecting property, which has truly surprised me. It really has.
You know what? I'm actually fed up.
Yeah.
I'm actually fed up. Oh, and I was talking with a lot of clients this week about it. Like droughts, where the hell did that come from? Floods, where the hell did that come from? COVID, where the hell did that come from? Lockdowns, where the
Yeah.
hell did they come from? Every 2 to 3 months in the last 2.5 years, it has been an absolute warp, absolute heads of something happening every couple of months. And it was like, and then the elections came, and it was like, really? Is there something again? Can't we just have like nothing happen, just stability, just like a cool, calm? I swear that over like major events over the last 5, 10, 15 years, GFC, was huge. And there was maybe something every 5 years, but this has
Ben's
been
saying he thinks it might
crazy time.
I agree with you. I agree. There's only so much a honey can bear, right? But Ben's saying I think it will take a few months for the actual Labor Party and the effect of what it may or may not have to trickle into the property market. And look, it's possible, right? And I think no matter what, Ben, whether Labor got in or Liberal got in, and believe me, I am definitely not a politician, nor am I much into politics, but I think no matter who got in, there's going to be an effect. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Because there were changes that were going to happen no matter what, right? So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what happens to first home buyers. It'll be interesting to see if sellers are selling because Labor Party got in, and if that's going to have that type of effect. It'll be interesting to see if buyers will still buy because the Labor Party got in. But here's what I do know. People will always need to sell and people will always need to buy. That's the reality of it. I've had phone calls coming through this week from people for no particular reason whatsoever, just saying, look, we decided we're just going to get our property on the market. Spring is coming around not that far either, Mark.
Yep.
And that always rejuvenates the property market as well. Like it really does. Lots of people go, we're going to sell, the weather's going to warm up. That'll start taking place over the next few months.
I think if you try to work out the future, work out the past. And I think if you look at people's property habits,
look at history.
Yeah, I think 50 years, 100 years, even 1,000 years or 2,000 years.
Yeah.
If you think out there that that can be undone after 2 years, I think you're wrong. And I think people's habits will go back to, what their status quo, what they're comfortable with and things like that. So property has always been the major asset, the biggest asset in the world. And that's why I do think that it just defaults back to that stability. It's how it makes you feel. It houses your family. It's a good thing. And look, I'm not here to talk property up, but I think just an observation that if you But if you look at, if you're trying to work out the last 2.5 years or every time a major event happens, I think history tells a beautiful story.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
That's why we should be scared. And not only that, but it's been an incredible and tumultuous couple of years. We keep coming out on top as a nation, as a country, as people. So
it's just it obviously is just building us and making us stronger and making us more resilient. But definitely. I think people are more selling up at the moment because they've just had enough of life in general because of all the cards that we've been dealt rather than the actual government itself. And I know that there's people out there that are going to say that's not at all true. But the reality of it is that people have had a gutful. People are tired. They're really tired. As Mark said, so many events that we've had to deal with. And I think, touch wood, it'll be nice to just have a little bit of a breather. All right. And also, it's also the unknown, guys. Mark, it's that uncertainty as well, of people just not knowing who's going to get in, not knowing what effect COVID's going to have. Now we know that when we have an outbreak of COVID, what needs to be done, we know what the default position looks like. So, we now know what government's going to get in. All that talk, the amount of hours that we even spend just talking to people about what do you guys think about, if Labor gets in and what that's going to do to the property market. Yeah. The amount of hours, the conversations that are had.
If you looked at media and you looked at that chitter-chatter, all that talk that people are having, that chitter-chatter amongst themselves, I know when we do this show and we base it on what's in current media, it goes off even more nuts. People love that on the show. So people revel in that conversation that they're familiar with. It's just this constant evolving.
No, that's right. Media. Exactly. That's right. Exactly.
Now, something I am observing, which is really freaking me out and it really interests me a lot, is this. You ready for it?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
Where's Ben's comment? Here.
Newcastle still pumping in prices. Merriweather got record sale at 10 mil yesterday.
That freaks me out.
Wow.
So I've always been a massive advocate of Sydney property. Queensland goes, is too erratic, not reliable, this and that. I've got clients that are
I can't believe it.
They're taking a hit in Sydney. Since November, there hasn't been growth. That's now widely reported by RP data and all the property houses. And then people are taking that money and they're saying, you know what, I've got a client that was buying in Bellingen, and I'd go onto the DY graph and you can see it come off a little bit. I'm saying to her, actually freshwater graph, she was in freshwater. And then I'm going, but she's going, nah. Look in Bellingen, has not gone down at all. Newcastle has not gone down at all.
Yeah, Adelaide as well. I know WA's pumping too.
So it's almost like weird that these areas.
But will they?
Absolutely.
There you go. So it's imminent.
Absolutely.
But understand, guys, that a lot of these areas were much slower to pick up than what Sydney was. Mark, you keep popping your finger in front of the camera. Understand that, these property markets took off much slower as well. So if you have a look at when the Northern Beaches started to lift, it was very different to when Adelaide, WA, Newcastle started to lift. Those guys took off a lot later, which means that they're going to come off a lot later as well. There was another question in here, guys, about auction or private treaty. We did cover it last week, Michael. Look, it's a funny market. It depends who you're asking, because if you ask me, as an agent working on the Northern Beaches, I'm saying I'm doing lots and lots of private treaty at the moment, depending on the property. If you ask some of these agents, maybe that are in WA, Adelaide or Newcastle, and they've got, 20 buyers all vying for the same property, I think it's just common sense that that style of property is going to be going out to auction.
Yep.
And then you've got a whole lot of agents out there, that's all they do. They don't do anything else. That's just, they just auction. They believe that's the best way to get the most amount of money out of the market. I personally feel it's a little bit old school. I think these days, the way the market is and the way life is, your campaign has to be exceptionally fluid. I'm launching two properties this week. They're going to be auction, may sell prior, because I may need to take it to auction and it may sell prior. So, I think you've just got to make sure that you are, as an agent, that you have got that property under a microscope and you are tracking things like data, buyer feedback, watching what's going on with that market daily.
Stay liquid.
Stay liquid so that you can, it's Mark's favourite saying this week, so that you can advise your vendors daily on what's going on. You may need to change course very quickly.
Yeah, I think the cookie cutter agents that just have the typical campaign for the typical property, and
I've woken up now.
Yeah, you do. We have our agents in our area.
Yeah.
That every property they market looks like the last property. If there is just no individualization, they don't know how to act any different. They just say auction, they just say 4 weeks, and they just ramp out the same property marketing campaigns all the time. You have to stay agile. Agile. Now, I'm getting poked a little bit by Luke here at the moment. With Queensland is going strong
and set for further growth.
I love Queensland, and Queensland's got an Olympics coming, so they're going to do very, very well. Sydney did very, very well out of the Olympics as well. But whenever we're pitching Queensland up against New South Wales or Sydney up against Brisbane, one thing I do feel strongly about is through COVID, New York suffered pain. It's a city, big city, vertical city. New York suffered pain. London suffered pain. People have decentralised. But I do believe people are tribal.
Yeah.
It's been going on for thousands of years. Centralisation is not a new thing, and decentralisation is a new thing. And I believe temporarily, it's temporary. If you just look at people's patterns of what they've done over long historic periods, they love centralising and dwelling towards cities. That is life, COVID or no COVID. People love it. It's not going to change people's, that much in people's DNA.
And people,
family, friends.
You know what, Mark? People thought the CBD was going to. People thought the CBD of any city was going to shut down because during COVID, it did. Right, coffee shops had to close.
Yep.
There were no. I remember we would take walks through the city, and it would be an absolute ghost town. Now, guys, go take a walk through the city and see what the city looks like. It's back to normal. Yeah. It is more or less back to normal.
People are fluid.
And so the reality is we don't know what we don't know. And I had a client, Mark, that had contacted me. It would have been with one of our very, very first lockdowns, and he was selling this magnificent apartment in George Street. Do you remember that?
Yep.
It was absolutely beautiful. He had just finished spending a fortune on this incredible apartment, and he was literally going to be giving it away. And I said to him, I'll tell you what I would do. I would not sell this apartment. I would rent this out. He said, no. This place is never coming back. We're never coming back from this. People will never come to the city again to work. And I said, I disagree. I actually think it's going to come back a whole lot more than it ever did before, because I think there's going to be a whole big sense of community amongst the CBD. And that's what we're starting to see now here in Sydney.
Yep.
Right? We're seeing this, where people have got this flexibility. I don't know. It feels to me like it's more of an entertainment precinct than it ever was before.
Yeah, I don't think
in combination with a working district.
I don't think cities are necessarily going to do what they've always done.
No,
they're a different animal.
I agree.
But pretty passionate about it, and I do think the people that are leaving to go to regional areas of Sydney, I'm getting people coming back now. That's a first.
Yeah,
I'm getting people coming back saying, did it. Great, got it out of my system, but school buddies, parents, kids, friends, like whatever. We tried it, we loved it, but we just didn't have that, from where we were. So I'm starting to see people coming back, which I've always traditionally seen.
Yeah.
I've always seen it going two ways in my career of real estate, but now I've only seen it go one way, decentralising out of Sydney for the last 2 years. Now I'm starting to see it two ways again.
I agree.
Very interesting.
I agree. Anyway, so look, fortunately for that vendor, how the story ended, he rented the property out. He called me about 4 weeks ago and said, thank God you told me not to sell the property. And we don't make money when we don't sell property, but what we do is we actually build trust and respect and create referrals when you actually look after people and just give them good, honest advice. And I think that's super important. But the guy's made a fortune on that apartment. He was literally going to drop his pants with it. So not literally, of course. All right. I think that's a wrap, is it?
Literally, but not literally.
Literally, but not literally. That's right.
Have a great day. I hope we helped you telling you about what's happening on the ground in Sydney, in the Northern Beaches. Stay fluid.
What a week, boys and girls, as well. My God, it's been quite the week.
Nuts.
All right. Thank you. That's it, guys. Have an awesome day.
See ya.
See ya.